Plan B is not such a bad thing. Even if you didn't grow up thinking it was a good thing, even if you have a tendency to kind of blow up because I don't want to do plan B, I want to do plan A, you just might, using plan B, find dragons in the mall. Hi, I'm Nani. Welcome to Chronicles of Nani. This is the vlog where I talk about the fact that I have MS, and the fact that I live in a wheelchair, and the fact that I live with all these things. I don't put up with them. I don't let them get me down. Well, okay, sometimes they do, but I don't let them keep me down. And I think that's the important part. And if you have a chronic illness that you deal with, or if you are in a wheelchair, if somebody that you care about, family or good friend, is in that same position, this is someplace you want to subscribe. That kind of leads into the subject that we're going to talk about today, which is always having a plan B. First part of my plan B is my cyber coffee shop coffee. All full of plan Bs. My Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and all the different ways that you can have coffee and feel about coffee, and you've seen that mug before. So part of plan B is, so it's not a new mug. We've talked about that before. I collect coffee mugs. I have over 300 coffee mugs. And you're seeing a coffee mug that you've seen before. Plan B. So the Plan B coffee mug, which y'all have seen before, unless you're watching for the first time or haven't caught all of the episodes, at which point subscribe to my main channel and you can see all of the different vlogs that I've already done and see if you can spot that coffee mug. That can be fun too. And a wonderful plan B. If you have a day that you're going to go out and do something and it ends up raining, watch Chronicles of Nani. Backup plans is the thing in the plan B that we're talking about today. On Saturday, and my husband's vacation started on Sunday for 9 days. On Saturday, the woman who was coming in as my aide to run the Hoyer lift and keep me cleaned up and all that good stuff came in and said that she had declined the offer for the job because she's allergic to cats. You know, the first thing I think of when I'm looking for a home health aide is that I use a Hoyer lift. And it wasn't a question of whether or not she could do the moving of the Hoyer lift. It was just allergic to cats. Like I said, I think Hoyer lift most important thing, and forget about the fact that there are people that are allergic to cats. There are people that have allurophobia. There are people that have allurophobia but are afraid to admit that they're afraid of cats. So they just say they're allergic to cats. Any way that you look at it, I don't think of asking that out front because I think moving the Hoyer lift's a tougher thing. But yeah, if you have an allergy or fear of cats, our cats are very friendly, like they're dogs friendly. So yeah, fear of cats or allergy to cats, you're not going to get away from in our home. So it was on Saturday, the day before my husband left, that she said, I have to decline. I'm sorry, I can't. And I instantly started working on, okay, what do we make up to do for plan B? In fact, my dad was also, okay, we'll get this figured out. We can handle this. And my husband was going ballistic nuts about, I can't go on a vacation. I can't go any place. I can't do anything. Because somehow he didn't grow up thinking about plan B. I've said before that I spent a lot of time with my nieces, especially when they were younger, before the family moved to Indiana, which was when the girls started high school. So I spent a lot of time on weekends with the girls. A lot to do with the fact that my dad just wanted to spend as much time as he could with his granddaughters. But we did a lot of talking about Plan B. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite books and guides is Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I used a lot of examples from that book when the girls and I had plans to do things and things didn't quite work out. And I tell them, well, you've heard me talk about this book a lot. And one of the things this book says, and one of the big things with kids, and this is not just a business book, it's highly effective people, not highly effective workers or highly effective professionals. It can be used in any part of your life. Is I told the girls that according to the ideas in this book, you should always have a backup plan in mind. And some of the examples that we've used from that are that we went to see a Lansing Lugnuts game, and it was, I don't remember if it was opening day, but it was early in the season. And we had tickets and we were all set to go. And I have a picture of the girls very sad looking at the closed gates because the game had been canceled because the field was covered in snow. And Rena, being a big fan of dragons of any sort, was so excited about seeing the Dayton Dragons. And she was just like, the day is ruined, the game is canceled, and now I don't know what we're gonna do, and this is just awful. And I reminded her, always have a backup plan. So we looked up some things going on in Lansing that day, and we found out that there was going to be a craft show at Lansing Mall, and that we enjoyed doing crafts together. And I asked the girls, would you like to go to the craft show and look at the crafts? And Tori was very, absolutely, yes. And Rena was, I guess so. Because she was just so excited about going to the baseball game and seeing the Dragons. When we got to the Lansing Mall, there was a bus in the parking lot. And it was the Dragons bus. It had big old Dayton Dragons logo on it. And Rena saw the bus right away. And she said, Dragons, they're at the mall. And I simply said, maybe they like crafts too. But we walked into the mall. And I honestly don't know if they were wearing jackets. I mean, I don't remember if it was jackets. I highly doubt they were wearing either baseball uniforms in the mall. But Rena knew that they were members of the Dragons as she walked in. We walked in and there were guys from the baseball team talking to some women at the mall, which is a normal thing for young guys to do on a day you didn't expect to have off. And you're out of town for a series anyway. And she just walked in, and it was like, dragons! It's a mall full of dragons. And we went to the craft show, and we looked at crafts at the mall, and she was just so tickled that we're in the mall with dragons. It's a mall full of dragons. And she got to see the Dragons bus, and the frustration with the baseball game being canceled was gone, because we had fun looking at the crafts at the museum, and she was just so satisfied with, we're going the same place the dragons went. We're doing exactly the same thing that they did with, when you have a day that your game gets canceled and it's a bad day, you go to the mall and look at crafts. This is awesome. There was another day that we employed the plan B, always have a backup plan. We were planning on going on a picnic, and it was raining. And it rained. And, it's not something you could have looked at the weather and known ahead of time. We'd made this plan that we're going to go on this picnic like more than a week before that. But it rained. And the girls were just, And they were sitting in front of the TV, watching TV, just sort of like, our day has been ruined. It's raining. We're not going to go to the park. We're not going to have our picnic. And I walked over to the TV, and I turned off the TV, and I said, come on, we got to make lunch for our picnic. And they said, but Nana, it's raining. I said, doesn't mean that we can't go on a picnic. So they came into the kitchen, and we packed our picnic lunch, and we put it in the picnic basket. And we grabbed the picnic basket. And I'd done a little bit of pre-planning before we made lunch. But we put that in the picnic basket, and we grabbed our picnic blanket, and we went for a walk. We walked all over the house. We walked downstairs and then back upstairs. And then we walked up to where my living room was. And we walked into the living room. I had a CD playing with sounds of nature. And I said, okay, we got to the forest and we can have our picnic. And we spread the picnic blanket on the ground in my living room while we were listening to the sounds of nature. And we sat down and pulled out our picnic stuff and had our picnic in the living room, listening to the sounds of nature and talking about the fun things about picnics. And even if you go on a picnic someplace that doesn't have slides or a playground, things to play on, you can still do fun things. And we'd say, listen, can you hear the frog jumping in the water? It's like, yeah, it's got to be a frog. A fish wouldn't jump like that. How far away is the water? It sounds like a little bit far. I don't think we want to try to walk that far. No, we don't want to walk that far to go to the water. But we had a wonderful, in our bubble of sitting in my living room, picnic. And after the picnic was done, and after we'd eaten our lunch and sat and talked for a while, we wrapped up all of our stuff and put in our garbage bag and put everything back in the picnic basket. And we went on a walk back around the house, stopped in the kitchen, threw away the garbage, and put the things that needed to be washed in the sink. And decided that it was a nice picnic. It was fun. Plan B. Always have plan B. So this week my dad is here. And he is... I'm enjoying having him here to talk to. And my husband left early this morning to spend 2 days in New York. He's going to, in that time, get to do lots of rail fanning and to get pictures of trains. He's going to spend one day with one brother and sister-in-law. And they're getting ready to leave on a cruise right after that. And then the next day, his brother and sister-in-law are going to be coming over and staying at his house for a couple of days. So he's going to get to see two brothers, two sisters-in-law, and he'll be gone a couple nights. Then he's going to come back here, move me around and clean me up in the Hoyer lift. Stuff that my father can't do, stuff that I won't let my father do. But he's going to take care of those things, and then he's going to leave the next morning and go overnight to Chicago and get some commuter trains that he wants to get. And then come back in time to be here to help move me around in that when my doctor is here to change my catheter. And hasn't quite decided what he's going to do with the last 2 nights of his vacation, but he is planning on doing one more overnight trip. So plan B is not working out so bad. He's still going to get to see 2 brothers and 2 sisters-in-law, and he's going to be able to do some of the things that he wanted to do in New York. He's going to be able to do some things that he's been wanting to do in Chicago. He's going to be able to get a train that he wants to get here in town. And then he's still got 2 days that he's got to figure out how far away he wants to go overnight. And it's all going to work out. It's going to be okay. Plan B is not such a bad thing. Even if you didn't grow up thinking it was a good thing. Even if you have a tendency to kind of blow up because I don't want to do plan B, I want to do plan A. You just might, using plan B, find dragons in the mall. And I certainly hope that he does find dragons at the mall. But so plan B, coffee mug you've already seen, and my husband going places that he wasn't necessarily planning on a week ago. But he's still getting out of town. And things are still being handled. So what seemed like it was all set and perfect at the end of last week, not so perfect, but you know what? Plan B's perfect enough, because Pop and I are seeing some dragons too. So that's pretty much the end of everything that I have to talk about today. It is just to remind everybody that chronic illness in a wheelchair, yeah, there are days that just seem awful. And it's okay to let those days seem awful for a little bit. But start to have plan B rolling. Start to know what you plan to get out of it. And if you get a chance, read that book or get it on Audible and have it read to you. But the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that's all of us, are wonderful habits to use to keep yourself happy and keep things working. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll definitely see you next week, or be seen with you next week. Remember, 24/7 on YouTube. You can join me for coffee anytime that works for you. Thanks, and have a great week.